Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Ascension and Astrology. My name is Janet Hickox, and sitting to my left is Kornelia Stephanie.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show today. Thank you so much for joining us. And we are here today to talk about
emotions.
Yeah, we're talking about emotions, stepping into our mastery and operating and coming from the heart. So that's going to be our topic, and certainly we want to hear from you. And also, while we're here, we would love it for all those people that watch us on YouTube, for you to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just look right there underneath. There's a little like button. Press that like button and press the subscribe button. There's a little bell that informs you when we load a new YouTube video. We want to grow the YouTube channel, and we would love your comments and we would love your input. So thank you so much for listening and tuning in.
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah, it's been a while since Kornelia and I have been sitting in the same spot. Last week we did an interview with Pia Orlean and Colin Baird Smith, but we did that from separate places. So today it was like, oh, wow, it's been a long time since I've driven out here to sit by you and to do this show. So that was probably the week before I went to the Caribbean.
Yes, it's been a while. So what, about 2 months?
Well, that was April 6th, I think it was, through the 13th. And then I came back from that and turned around and left to go to Vegas, or I was babysitting
that's
little
right.
Y guy in between times. And then I left for Vegas, and then I had my ear taken care of. And so it's been kind of a crazy few weeks for me. And so thank you so much for anchoring the show. And you did some really good interviews with some great people.
Absolutely. I only had 2. It seems like
it should have been more, doesn't it?
Yeah. It seems like it was only it was 2 people. I had Sakai on, and I also had Pia and Colin. Right?
Yeah.
So
I guess because 1 week we skipped. We just didn't do.
Okay.
We didn't have a show.
Yeah.
So we're back today and back together to talk about Ascension and Astrology. And that is the name of the YouTube channel, by the way, Ascension and Astrology. It is also the name of our Facebook page where we are broadcasting from today, or broadcasting to. And when you go to YouTube, you could search for Ascension and Astrology. And our symbol is this little tree. So you'll see this little tree, and that's how you'll know it's our channel, because there's a lot of people out there doing work around Ascension and astrology together.
Is it?
Yeah, which is kind of fascinating. Like, I just did a search for us yesterday, I think it was, and there were like 10 people or 10 videos ahead of our video channel. So, but we're moving up, because at one point it was like 15 or 20.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
and I think it's some of those other people that you're talking about. I think it's also called, ours is called Ascension and Astrology. Theirs is called Astrology and Ascension.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Right?
Kind of backwards.
Yeah.
We did it alphabetical.
Yeah.
So at any rate, you can find us there, and then go ahead and do what Kornelia suggests, which is like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
It really helps us. And also, as you're watching the video, and always, comment on, what it is that insights that you're getting, or what support you're feeling, or what it is that you like about the show. We want to hear from you. We want to engage with you. So,
right.
And remember that pretty soon we're going to start. We're really going to start with the prizes and awards and different things. We've talked about this in the past, and now that Janet's fully back on, now we can get fully back into the swing of things.
Yeah, we did give away a calendar one day.
We did.
A Mayan, or not Mayan, Pleiadian Earth energy calendar, which I'm loving.
Me too.
Playing with that calendar. And so if some of you are wondering what that's all about, you can go back to our videos where we interviewed the author of the book, Pleiadian Earth Energy Astrology. And then they also produce a calendar. So you can follow along with what is so much more in natural service to time than our very mechanical Gregorian calendar.
Right.
But it's hard to get used to it.
Yeah.
because your mind is so stuck in that 7-day week.
Change your mind.
Change your mind, change your life. Right? Tell us about that, Cornelia, because everybody who's listening here is going to be invited to join us in this Change Your Mind.
Change your mind, change your life. A summit is a summit of 11 speakers, the power of 11, that I have organized, that's coming together on June the 11th. We're going to launch out this Change Your Mind, Change Your Life, and where 11 speakers are going to come, and they're going to influence you and share their wisdom with you on how you can reprogram, change your mind about whatever's holding you back in your life, whatever it is that you've struggled with, whatever that is. And within that summit, there's going to be so much content that's going to be shared, but also so many gifts. We're busting a whole new paradigm, a whole new way to do summits, because we're going to be offering free Q&A, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really, really excited because we're creating it as we go. All of us together in a group right now. There's 11 of us, and it's really awesome because of everybody's so dedicated. Everybody's so committed to be in service to the planet, but then also to be in service to making sure that their clients, you, the people who they are speaking to, has everything what it is that they need in order to change their life, change their mind, change their life.
And this is going to be something that people can tap into live, correct?
Yep, going to be able to tap into live. We're going to live stream that event.
Mm-hmm.
And then, each speaker is going to speak about 30 minutes. And then the other 30 minutes, there's going to be a live Q&A. So this is different, because normally the way that summits are done is it's like an hour of interviews and but no live Q&A. So this is the time for you to, look at the different speakers, what they're offering, and then get your questions and have a personal engagement with the facilitator,
Right.
which is really cool.
And since there are 11 of them, there are 2 a day.
There's 2 a day
for
which
6
is,
days.
Yeah, which is also a lot nicer than having to watch 21 or 22 interviews, because that's
over
a lot.
The course of 22 days, and
Yeah.
you forget, you lose interest or whatever. So this, or you have to watch it round the clock, right?
Yeah.
I just did one that I didn't do it. I was meant to do it, but it didn't work out for me because it was around the clock. I don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to have one interview that is at 8 a.m. in the morning Pacific time, and one that is at 1 p.m. in the afternoon Pacific time. So that's going to be so great for all of us, the people that want to listen to it on their way driving to
Mhm.
work, or the people that are in New York that are just coming home from work
Yeah.
at 1
exactly.
o'clock. So it's going to be great. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
I am too. So I'm going to participate, and my workshop, my summit, I'm
Yeah.
not sure, my lecture, I don't know what to call it exactly, is Change Your Mind by Releasing Your Dependence on Your Mind. And that is owing to human design astrology. So I don't want to give any much more away.
Oh, is
than
that your one-liner?
Yeah. Change your mind by releasing your dependence on your mind.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's going to be good. Well, I
Yeah.
know that whatever you do is going to be great, because we know how awesome Janet is. That she's a natural teacher.
Mhm.
She's a teacher by heart, and she absolutely loves teaching. So we're also blessed to be able to be part of that experience, and to really be,
I'm excited.
Yeah, hearing
I'm
what
really
it is that
excited.
she has to share with us. Now, not only am I facilitating the summit, but I'm also going to be a teacher I will also be the last speaker in the summit.
Mhm.
And my tagline is, be a media star, step out of the shadows into the spotlight. And so I'm going to be talking about, if you are an entrepreneur and if you've got a message to share with the world, now is your time to come out of hiding, come out of and step out of the shadows into the spotlight. And that's going to be
Out of the darkness and into the light.
That's we're dragging everybody into the light is what we're doing. That's what the Change Your Mind Summit is about. It's literally moving into your greatest level of mastery and step into your personal power and awakening your soul's blueprint, really is what it is.
Yeah, which is powerful stuff.
And what's also so great is we have a diverse group of speakers, and like one speaker that we have, for instance, she's a sleep specialist, and what
Ooh,
she talks about is making sure that you as an adult get your proper amount of sleep, but not just the adult, but also the children. And so she has a whole ritual of what it is that she does to help the parents to set up the evening time for bedtime. And there's a whole ritual about it, and it's really cool because you know what, Janet, you know this because you've got a grandson, but the children of today, they're wired differently than than we were when we grew up, right?
yeah.
And
Hmm.
they need a much calmer environment, a much quieter environment to really because they come in with so much high information, high intelligence already, that giving them that proper environment so that they can sleep is so important.
Yeah. And the world is just so crazy. They pick up all of that, right? And, this is kind of a great segue into what it is we're covering today. We're actually covering the mastery of emotions. And part of what some of the children of today experience is that emotional overload, right? There's so much emotional energy out there, and they're just these open sponges and they're absorbing all that energy. And then they have issues sometimes with sleeping. They have issues with going to school and learning or staying focused because of all of that emotional energy that's out there. And interestingly enough, in the human design system, the gentleman that brought that system into being, he said that one of the things that we would notice as our planet was transitioning over to being more emotionally responsible is that there would be a higher incidence of what we would call autism in children. And that would tell us that that emotional energy is rising and that it was signaling our time to learn more and more about emotions. And you, my friend Cornelia, have dealt with emotions for years. Tell
Yeah.
us what kind of work that you've been doing with emotions.
Yeah, this is actually how I healed my life, is with the power of emotions.
Hmm.
When I first began, on my path with emotional processing, with discovering that no matter how much positive thought I would try to have, like the law of attraction, I would try to think positive, yet emotionally I wasn't feeling well. Emotionally, I was still feeling those core wounds of betrayal, abandonment, unworthiness, shame, not good enough, feeling separate from source. I was still feeling that energy, and that's when I really dove into it, and I asked Spirit to lay this path out for me and help me to identify what this work was about. And that's how I discovered, the emotional processing, and also cleared my own emotional body, and healed those wounds through emotional processing and identifying what those wounds were for me. And not reacting to the environments outside of myself, but looking at whenever I would get triggered about something, I would look at, okay, this person triggered me, or this event triggered me, right? What is this about for me? What am I feeling? And then I would look at it and I would say, okay, and through my journaling, through the processing, I would look at it and say, okay, I feel abandonment, or I feel betrayed, or I feel unworthy, or I feel ashamed, or whatever it was.
Can I stop you there for 1 second?
Yeah.
It's interesting to note that you're categorizing it as I feel, right? Because so many times people say, I've been abandoned or I am depressed, and they actually put themselves in the physical beingness of it rather than recognizing that it is an emotion. So the very fact that you're recognizing that at that point in your in time that you're feeling these things, they're authentic. There's nothing wrong with feeling them, but they're not your makeup,
Mm-hmm.
right? You are not your emotions. You are
Mm-hmm.
feeling your emotions, but you are not your emotions. And that's, I think, one of those first key steps that you can make,
Yeah.
right? In all of this is to recognize that you're feeling something, and then you can work with and process through that. It's not something that you're doomed to be. right? Because it isn't
Right.
your identity.
Right. Well, once I realized, because I was asking spirit, how do I do this with, how do I solve this, and how do I solve this for myself? And diving deep into this emotional pain and whatever that was, really supported me in healing my emotional body, if you want to call it that. And
Mhm.
now it's interesting because all those wounds I just talked about, abandonment, betrayal, unworthiness, separation from source, shame, all those emotions, I can't even identify with those anymore because they are all healed, and it's part of my old body, it's part of my old life. It's not something that I can identify with anymore. And all my clients, the people that have worked with me, you included, are also not feeling those energies anymore. Because I was talking to somebody about this today, when we bring our love and when we bring our awareness and our consciousness and our willingness to dive deep into whatever the emotion
Whatever
is,
the stuff is.
whatever the stuff is, we're willing to go dive deep into it. And my mantra is feel to heal. Go in, process the energy. Don't point the finger at the other person. Here's one of my favorite quotes, Eckhart Tolle, and he says, relationships don't cause unhappiness and conflict. They bring out the unhappiness and conflict already within us.
Profound.
And that's the truth. And that's really the thing about emotional processing. If you're not feeling your emotions, if you're not feeling happy in your life and in your relationships and with whatever is going on, this is all coming up so that you can release it and let it go and move greater into your truth. What's underneath all of that stuff? What's underneath all of that stuff that wants to be felt, that wants to be heard, that wants to be acknowledged, that wants to be loved, that wants to be honored? And so we're speaking today about the power of emotions, because when I thought about this topic, Janet, I was thinking about Mars getting ready to move into Cancer. And what that reminds me of, with Mars in Cancer for 6 weeks. Now, Mars is the action taker, the warrior planet, the action taker, the warrior. It's like, and also Mars, and from a lower expression, can be anger. So Mars is getting ready to move into Cancer.
Did move into Cancer.
Yesterday. And Cancer is all about home, nurturing. Cancer is your it's also that Cancer is a sign, is a water sign, and it's emotion. Water is emotion. So now imagine what it's going to be like with Mars in emotion, with these energies right now that we're in over for 6 weeks. So the reason why we're talking about this topic, why I wanted to discuss this, is because how are you going to respond to the events that are happening in your life? Are you going to respond from a place of old masculine energy, warrior type anger, projecting the energy out? Or are you going to take a moment when you're triggered by anything and then look at what's true for you, right?
Yeah.
Is that a good way to talk about?
That's a great way to talk about it. Mars is going to be in Cancer now until July 1st. So we have a lot of time to play with this. And it constitutes moods. Cancer is moods. It's moody. And it's feelings that are up and down and up and down. And Mars, of course, can exacerbate all of that by focusing more in the anger spectrum. And so I find that a lot of times people who have Mars in Cancer, they are often pushing those feelings that they have to the background.
Really?
Right? Like they don't really want to feel the whole
because
spectrum.
It's so much, isn't it?
It's so much.
It's so much.
Right? The moon rules Cancer. And we know the moon, how changeable it is, right? It moves, every day it's moving through several degrees in human design through several gates. And that means change. And Mars likes change, but on its own terms, which doesn't necessarily mean the emotional atmosphere is going to be conducive to change. So we have to learn how to process through what it is that we're going to experience through this particular period of time. Sarah.
Your
hello.
Mars in Scorpio, Sarah. I am too. So I understand that one.
Yeah. She also says she says, our emotions show us a sign on deeper matters. I feel a lot about myself, even though I am super hard on myself because I feel like my spirit, mind, and self-awareness is really beyond how I emotionally react. But that's so typical of Mars and Scorpio, right? To be right on top of it and, really beating that drum to get to the bottom of whatever it is.
You don't have a choice with Mars and Scorpio because you're at the bottom of the barrel. And so that's a very intense energy to be in with that Mars and Scorpio. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? So not only do we have that playing out right now, ladies and gentlemen, we also have one of the most intense full moons this weekend with Taurus and Scorpio. What is it?
Well, the moon itself,
the full
will
moon
be in
is in Scorpio. Yeah.
And the sun will be in Taurus.
Right.
Is in Taurus.
So, and this is going to be a biggie because think about it. Any place where within your being, where you're still have fear around anything that's going on in your life, where you're not feeling comfortable, what you're really, really, really tired of. This Scorpio full moon is like a massive purification generator. It's like it's here to support us right now to really, really clear out that old energy, whatever that is.
Well, it's going to primarily be financially based, right? Taurus is a financial sign. Scorpio is a financial sign. And Scorpio's tendency is to hold on to that old grievance, that old emotion. And this will be a full moon for us to allow that to come up and be released.
Yeah.
So release, complete, be revealed. Something can be revealed to you about what your emotional depth has been trying to tell you for a long time. So it's a powerful one, particularly because Taurus energy is so manifesting, right? So whatever you're focusing on is likely going to be coming up for manifesting intentions and so forth.
Yeah.
Whatever your intentions were.
Yeah. And so if you're challenged financially, this is a good time now to make your list, write it down, and ask for it to be removed from your life, that you have the conscious awareness that you don't want this anymore. Because with this powerful energy in Scorpio right now, it's really giving us the opportunity to transform it. And take yourself into a place of feeling rich. That's the place to be in this home, in this physical body where you are residing temporarily while we're here incarnated on this planet. This is your home, and this is where you want to feel safe. This is where you want to feel rich. This is where you want to feel at home.
This is your interface between spirit and matter.
Yeah.
Right. So everything matters here in this physical being. There was something else I was going to say about that. Now, what was it?
So if you're not feeling rich, maybe this is an opportunity right now for you to say desire. Yeah, I want, because you're talking about Taurus and financial, right?
Desire.
Yeah.
Desire. And it's also, I remembered what I was going to say.
Okay.
Remember, what was it, 2005 when The Secret came out?
Yeah.
Remember, it was all about what's in your mind. And I see Donna Blevins out there who wrote the book about the mind. It's all in your mind. Then we realize, as we're moving through this idea of we're creating our reality, that we're also creating our reality not from the mind, but from our emotions. That if you are feeling like you can never have something and you're intending with your mind to have it, that it's not a connect. There's a disconnect. So emotions are being shown to be far more powerful than the mind is. In fact, that research that Bruce Lipton is doing and Greg Braden and others, the Heart Math Institute, that there are more receptors in the neurotransmitters in the gut than there are in the brain.
Yeah, I think the gut is communicating with the brain.
Right. There's more going this way.
Yeah.
As opposed to what we think of as the mind communicating down.
Yeah.
It's the emotions communicating up.
Right.
Right. So your emotions are really driving what it is that your thoughts do. And that's an important distinction, Because if you're always feeling mopey or down or thinking about things that create a snowball effect in those emotions, then you're going to get yourself stuck in that same merry-go-round of bad feelings.
So this is the part that the secret left out.
Mm-hmm.
They left out the emotional piece. They left out the piece about the power of emotions, because I watched The Secret too, because I'm a law of attraction coach, right? So I've got the law of attraction. I'm teaching people.
La La Land, I
Yeah.
guess. But we're back.
So that's when I started doing this emotional work and started helping people, myself, and then my clients with being able to, clear their emotional body. Because, like you just said, there's a disconnect, and this is the way I realized this disconnect that you're talking about. Is that the way that it works? Is I couldn't believe that I had a thought that was attached to a belief, that was attached to an emotional core wound, that I wasn't worthy and that I wasn't good enough, and that I used to make choices that reflect that belief. Now let's turn that around into a positive. I can't believe that I have a thought that is, I am worthy.
I like that. I am worthy.
Exactly. I am worthy, because you want to flip that.
Mm-hmm.
I am worthy, and that you make choices that reflect that. But you feel this in your emotional body because that's the truth. I am worthy. I'm worthy. I'm deserving of all these good things. And so, whatever the financial struggles or whatever are, they were there only so that you can release some of this old negative energy, right?
Yeah.
And change your financial story so that it is, what's true for you in your life.
And it's not just purely finances either. It can be in your relationships. It can be in your values. It can be in your health. It can be anywhere in your life where, frankly, it sort of comes up as a bit of victim energy, where you're succumbing to what other people believe or what you've always believed, the patterns that were set in you and that kind of thing. So I want to say something here really quickly. Sarah, you say, I'm sorry, I keep commenting. We want you to comment. We want you to comment. We want you to interact with us. And, I think what I would like, I don't know if you would like this, but for somebody to give us an emotional something that they're dealing with.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
For you to help them process through it. Can you do that, do you think?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. But I want to hear what Sarah said.
What else she says? Okay.
Yeah.
She says, this conversation is really valuable to me, being where I know I need to be. The closest person in my life made me feel even more abandoned, fearful, and vengeful. I'm trying to learn to let go. Thank you for helping me go through this journey of emotional evaluation step by step.
That's beautiful, Sarah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, Sarah. And so when you're looking at if abandonment is still playing out in your movie, in your reality, in your life, so now this is a perfect time to once and for all be done with abandonment. No more do you want to see those scenes play out in your life. And you have this level of awareness now because you wrote about it here and you're already onto it and you're already saying, that's it. I'm done. I don't want people abandoning me anymore. This is hurtful and this is painful. And when you look at the opposite of abandonment, what is the opposite of abandonment is security, feeling secure. And so the first place to start with abandonment is sitting down with yourself and saying, Sarah, I'm not going to abandon you anymore. I'm here for you. You're saying this to your own self. You're saying this to yourself by saying, I'm not going to abandon you. I'm here for you. And that's the first place that it's going to begin, because this is the seed, the truth of what you're grounding into your movie now, into your reality, into your body, into your experience. And you're the one that is not going to abandon you anymore. You're not going to give your power away outside. You're not going to, nobody else is going to be able to do that to you, simply because you understand what this is about, and you're not going to abandon yourself. So that's first, and that's primary. And then the second thing,
Emotional agility.
agility.
I love that, Donna.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And the second thing is, once you start showing yourself, taking action steps that show that I'm not abandoning myself, I'm showing up for this, to the things that are important in your life. Once you start taking action there, you're going to feel more and more and more secure. And then what's going to end up happening is the universe is going to bring you relationships and people that have staying power, that are there with you, that are showing you security, and that you can be in your inner circle with. And so I know this is a painful one, because I too was abandoned, and it those that played out for me. It was really interesting, because it played out for me in relationships with women that I had good relationships with, and then all of a sudden they just dropped out. Boom, they were gone. And at that time, when I was working with this particular wound, that felt really bad to me. It felt really bad, because I enjoyed my connection with my friend, and all of a sudden she abandoned me, and she was gone. So now what? And so that was how I cleared that, and how I released that. And once you really get to the core of it, and really clear the emotional core wound, it's gone. Once you really get to that place of where it began. Because if you think back to your entire life, of not just this life, but any other life that you've lived, that you're clearing the emotional energy for, of abandonment, maybe you also felt abandoned by God. Maybe you also felt abandoned by source. Maybe that's how far you can track that back in your family lineage, and how far back you want to go. When I work with people, that's where we go. We go to all the way back to wherever it needs to go, not just here and now, but also far back to where it's completely cleared out of your energy field, and you never have to feel abandoned again, because you are one with the source. You are one with the source. And once you bring that healing into that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I hope that helps.
Yeah. The closest person in her life made her feel so. Often, I think for us, abandonment issues begin in childhood, with mom or dad who are
Yeah.
absent in your life, or who make you not feel like you're not important. And sometimes it's even just the subconscious cues that you may be picking up. Like, for instance, in the womb, if you intuited or heard conversations around not being wanted, or mom having an emotional reaction to finding out she's pregnant, or that maybe somebody left her, then you pick that up, you absorb that. And in a human design chart, we can see very clearly the emotional connection, and that comes from the solar plexus, which, if it's defined in your human design chart, it would be colored in brown. It's on the lower, left side of the chart. And if it's brown and colored in, you're broadcasting emotion. So the emotion that you're feeling is genuinely your own. But if you have an open emotional center, then you are what we would call empathic, and you're actually absorbing the emotional energy from the people around you. And your tendency is to want to express that energy, but it isn't even your own energy. So you have to learn the difference between being an empath and, absorbing the energy from around, or you actually broadcasting your own authentic emotion. And that kind of is something that you can only tell if you have a human design chart done up for yourself, so that am I a broadcaster, or am I absorbing people's emotions?
Yeah. And part of, right now, stepping into your personal mastery is really about coming from the heart, so that you come from the heart where you are concerned. If there's people in your life, like I said, that are abandoning you and that are playing this part out for you, it's an opportunity now to release it, let it go, bring love there, and release this
Mhm.
abandonment wound once and for all, so that you can be free from the pain. Because I can tell you, after clearing that wound, it doesn't exist anymore. It's not part of the movie. It's not part of my reality. And because I know I will never abandon myself, and I know I'm at one with source, I'm at one with God. So there's no separation. I don't
Right,
feel
right.
abandonment. But once you can, heal that part with the parents and the relationships, it's important, to get to the root source of it. And you can bring your love there. And with your love, you absolutely can do it.
And what you're saying is true. And once you've dealt with it, you don't necessarily need to keep dealing with it, but the world will keep showing you instances at times of this playing out in your life. And it's all about how you react when it shows up again. Because it does. Invariably, a situation will pop up that there's this potential for abandonment, and it's what you do with that when it pops back into your field that tells you how far along the healing path you've gone, being willing to process through all of this stuff. And what do we mean when we say process?
Feel. We literally feel. Process. You sit in. You feel the emotion. You dive into the emotion, and you feel.
That's what I wanted. You always talk about. I've got to dive in and sit with that feeling.
Yeah, and it's an uncomfortable feeling.
Feeling the feeling.
Feel
That's
the
what you say.
feel to heal. Feel the feeling.
Yeah.
Feel the uncomfortable. Feel what it feels like to be abandoned. Feel it. Give yourself that permission to feel that, because we know it doesn't feel good. But we have to clear the emotional body. We have to clear the emotional debris so that we can be free of it. And I have to say, I don't agree with you on one thing.
So
I don't agree with you on the part that you're going to be shown this again and again, and that that you're going to see abandonment again. The way that I frame that, what you're talking about, maybe in the first beginning stages, after you get done clearing that core wound, maybe then there might be a couple more times where that subtle energy of someone comes in, to really see if you got it, if you really got it, and if you are being true to yourself and having the feeling and thoughts and the belief that I'm not abandoned. It's true. I'm not. I know I'm not. I'm not abandoning myself. That right there might be the subtle experiences that will take place. But what's going to happen later on, once you know that you are fully 100% connected to source, and that you are never abandoned, and that you are connected to the oneness of the universe, and that everything is interconnected, once you really vibrate from that state of being, no one can come in and play the abandonment card and make you react, because it doesn't have the power anymore.
it's not about just reacting, though. It's about feeling it, because even you still have times where you get angry or you get upset. The difference becomes that it doesn't fall out of you at everybody else around you in waves of anger or upset. You take it in and you process that.
Yeah.
Right? You sit in that feeling.
Yeah.
And it might be a trigger from abandonment, or it might be, what were some of the other ones? Betrayal, guilt, shame,
Unworthiness.
unworthiness, and things like that. So they're always there. The potential is always there. It's about what you do with it when it shows up, because we've been used to just blaming, shaming other people for it.
I'll tell you how it plays out for me. It may be different for everybody else, but the way that it plays out for me is, once I cleared the betrayal wound out of my physical body, then when I had a friend betray me, then I could have said, "Oh, I feel betrayed by you." But because I had cleared that wound completely out of my physical body, betrayal was not part of my experience anymore, because on the opposite end of betrayal is trust. And now I'm operating completely from a place of trust. I don't, it's kind of like going back to the days when the Last Supper, and Jesus knew that one of his disciples was going to betray him, but he fully trusted. And it's that energy I'm talking about. So even though my friend betrayed me, I didn't feel betrayed by my friend because I don't have the betrayal energy in my system anymore, because I only trust. And so, but what the experience gave me the opportunity to do with my friend is offer unconditional love, loving her unconditionally, even though I might have been betrayed. So that's how I perceive and how I frame that. Yeah, from that place. So it's really important to look at, where you are with your emotions and how you're going to respond to different things, because you don't want to put the energy again out on somebody else. You want to bring it back to you and claim your power from there, because the savior is in you.
And you see, your emotions aren't going to go away. So what Kornelia is saying isn't that you won't feel these things anymore, because you will. They're there. The difference is that you deal with them on your own, right? You don't have to allow something that's a trigger to really take you out or lay you out for a long time period. It's about emotional maturity and emotional responsibility. We are meant to be emotional. Our emotions really are kind of a guidance system. And that guidance system, your emotions will tell you what your mind is focusing on. And if you are feeling sad, mad, glad, whatever it is, then the thoughts that you've had have been cueing you to feel a specific sort of way. And when you hear that, when you see that in your life you're beginning to feel something, whether it be, let's just say, angry or upset,
Mars and Cancer,
frustration,
because again, you said it, emotional, what did you say? Emotional
maturity.
Mm-hmm. And that's because right now we're really being asked with Mars and Cancer to be emotionally mature.
Right.
Because we're 80% water. We are emotional beings. And part of the reason of the whole suppression of our past was because we didn't feel our feelings, because we've numbed it up, we've dumbed it up, we didn't feel it to heal it. We were not emotionally responsible. We weren't doing what you just said we need to be doing. And that is really to, take responsibility for our emotions.
Yeah. So let's see what some of the comments are here. Donna, I forgot all about your energy egg, and I love this. She says, I had to put on my energetic egg, which selectively reflects negativity and allows positivity to flow through and to me.
Nice.
So she loves her egg. And I remember when you were on my morning show, we talked about that egg. I love that idea.
Love the egg.
Kathy Miller. Hello, Miss Kathy. I have never been able to show sad emotion. I tend to get angry about things I couldn't control. I would go out on my back step and cry for 2 hours, not a little weeping, but just a full-blown crying jag. Then I'm pretty good for 6 months.
That's the perfect way to do it.
Yeah. It's like a cry fest.
Totally.
And, I have a friend that calls it an ugly cry.
Yeah.
Where you just go all the way full tilt.
That's a perfect way.
Sarah, it's made me fearful of not marrying that friend that left. It makes me also scared to ever have kids because I'm afraid of how they would feel. Thank you so much for helping with this deep wound. That friend also has kids he can't see. So once again, triggering me very hard. It's made me angry with him. So it would seem, Sarah, and I think you're really young still, if I remember correctly. I just did your chart not too long ago. So I'm trying to think if she was born in 83, 86, something like that. So,
well, why don't you ask her?
Because it'll take time for her to tell me.
Okay.
But you can type that in. I can't remember, Sarah, if you can tell me how young you are. Because you still want to process through those triggers to your emotions of anger or upset. Where did I see that? She said her dad abandoned her and her brother, and then her mother was in the military, so she was gone a lot. So, there's a deep well there for you to work
it seems
with.
like a huge theme, and you get to really look at all the people that have abandoned
27.
you.
26, 27.
All the people that have abandoned you your whole life, and then including this man that you're mad at right now. it's still playing out. And Sarah, you have the absolute ability right now, this today and this full moon weekend, to be completely complete with all of it. This is the perfect time to, to really let all of that anger out. Sit down with yourself and write it out. All the people that have abandoned you. Get pissed. Get angry. Get angry. Let that anger out of your body. Cry. Whatever you need to do to get it out, right?
You have to give it a voice. You have to give it expression, because it's real.
It is. And exactly. And then let it all go and say no more. And then after you're completely done with expressing all this rage, this anger, this emotion, letting it out of your physical body, then do a beautiful ritual for yourself, maybe the next day. Because sometimes, like when I dive into emotion, I dive in and I do not rush myself at all. I let the storm happen. So whatever it is, the fire needs to take over. I let the fire be the fire, and I let it all consume itself, so that once it's done, it's done. And then I rise from the ashes
like a phoenix.
And then when you rise, you're going to come back with that beautiful, brilliant consciousness of yours, with that beautiful mind, with that beautiful heart. And then you're going to say, from now on, I will never abandon myself again. I will never allow anyone else to abandon me. I'm going to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, you are not responsible for what other people are feeling, or for what other people have. Well, frankly, what you're doing when you are attaching your past to someone else's is that it's baggage. Yeah. It's all just so much baggage, and it happened in the past, and the past is dead. There's no life, no breath in the past. So what you're experiencing now in the moment is all that's important. And if what you're experiencing now in the moment is because of something that's gone on in the past, it's definitely a call to release that. But you have to own it. You have to own it. You have to embrace it. You have to thank it for all of the lessons it's taught you. And then you move on and allow yourself, like Kornelia says, the time to do that, the space to do that.
You have to allow yourself the space to grieve.
Yeah.
To really grieve, because it's a loss. I mean, imagine what it's like to feel abandonment. It's like being abandoned. Like what flashed right now for me is abandonment, being left on the side of the road. And my mom, she had left me once, not on the side of the road, but forgot about me in a store. And just that just flashed. But imagine what it's like being abandoned. You are left behind. So really healing and clearing this energy, so that you don't have to deal with this anymore. Yeah. Because you are not going to abandon yourself anymore, but allow yourself to grieve that, get angry about it, cry about it, journal about it, process and feel the emotion, and then do a beautiful ritual.
Yeah, I love Donna. Imagine how many crossroads I've processed after being in this earthly vehicle for 70 years. I choose to shift my mindset. I am not a septic tank.
Donna, is this the Donna?
Donna Blevins.
Donna.
Yeah.
Yes, she was on your show. And yes. Donna, I met you through Deborah. Yeah. You and I met on Facebook together. And Deborah said that I have to have you on my show. So we definitely have to talk. Yes.
Well, Sam asks an excellent question, and I think this is right up your alley. What are the best ways to release fiery or sad emotions without burning the people around you?
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
So without burning the people around you, you're going to do this by yourself. You're going to do this by yourself. You're going to go and you're going to get angry, whichever way that you get angry about, verbally, go in the car and scream and whatever that is, but not project it out at the other people, because it's not the other people, it's you. It's you. And so, like you said, you don't want to burn the people around you, because it's that fire, it's that energy, it's that anger. And that's the lower expression of Mars that we're talking about right now, that is in Cancer, in the emotional body. And so what are you angry about, Sam? I want to know what you're angry about. What are you angry about? I feel, I feel, I feel, I feel. I'm pissed about what? I'm angry about what? What are you angry about? Because behind that anger, underneath that anger, there is a truth that is waiting to be claimed, that's waiting to be heard by you. There is gold. There's gold underneath that anger. So tell yourself what you're angry about. What are you feeling? What is the emotion? I'm feeling they don't listen to me. I'm feeling that they ignore me. I'm feeling like whatever that is, you want to dig underneath there and find out what it is that you're so angry about, that they're giving you the opportunity to feel this trigger, to get this anger and this rage out.
And you guys might want to remember that anger or any of these very powerful emotions, while not wrong or not, they're not bad, and they tend to peel off in layers, right? One layer comes up and it reveals that there's something deeper going on underneath that, and then you peel that one up until you finally get down to that core trigger point or what have you.
I'll tell you, this one of the times that I remember being extremely like enraged is when I had a man living in my house. I rented a room to him, and he was a bully, and so I asked him to move out. And he was like 6 feet tall. So I'm 5'2". And I'm looking up at him and I go, hey, it's just really not going to work out. You're going to need to move out. And he looks down at me and he says to me, you can't make me. You can't make me, is what he said. So at the time when he said that to me, I felt like thousands of inner bullets go off in my physical body that said, I don't have the power. I can't make him, that he has the power over me, and I can't make him do something, that I'm his landlord. I can't do something, and he's not going to go away quietly. I felt so enraged that my body was shaking. I was shaking. I was shaking at that time. And so I looked at him, and this is the way to respond from the place of empowerment with your emotions. I looked at him and I said, we're going to see about that. And I turned around and I went away and I went into the back part of my house where I lived. And that is when I went ballistic. I went ballistic and I got that rage and I got that anger out of my body. Like, oh my God, I have this guy living in my house and he is telling me I can't make him, and he is threatening me. He's bullying me and he's bullying my roommate, and I have got to get him out. And so when I got to the bottom of the anger, I realized what was underneath there is that I felt powerless. I felt powerless as a woman to
a 5'2"
to stand up to this man.
Yeah.
I felt powerless. And so I was angry. I was so angry and I was so enraged that this man did this to me and whatever. But actually, it was a blessing in disguise because I claimed my power. Once I let all that rage and all that energy out, which took the rest of the day, by the way, it didn't go away like right away. I let it all out. Once that was done, the next day I sat down with my journal and I said, now what do you want, Kornelia? And I said, I want him to move out. So now I wasn't coming from a place of powerlessness because I released the powerlessness out of my body by letting the anger out and by having the awareness to say, I feel powerless. So now I'm not powerless anymore because I let that anger out and I released it all. So now I went back to him and I looked at him and I said, you are going to need to move out. And then the tables turned because suddenly he goes, well, then you're going to have to give me all my money back and you're going to have to. And I go, fine, you're going to need to move out because now I came from a place of power. That is how you do it. That was exactly the way to do it.
That's a great example too, because
So-
that power is the big deal.
It was the power, because I felt powerless over him. He
Mhm.
was bullying me, and thousands of bullets went off in my physical body, but I didn't point the finger. I didn't threaten him. I didn't, verbally barf
Mhm.
on him. I walked away from him. I dealt with my own emotion, being responsible for my own emotions.
Yep.
Dealt with my own emotion. And then I came back to him and I said, you are going to need to move out. So then all of a sudden, when I talked to him then from that place of power, he suddenly became, he suddenly felt powerless, because he was like, oh my God, she's totally serious. She's like, she means it. And so I said, when are you moving? By Saturday, I need you to be out of here. You're going to have all of your money. I changed all of the locks on our rooms, and boom, he was gone by the weekend.
There you go.
It could have turned out to be a terrible situation. The police could have been called. All kinds of things could have happened. But I knew that that experience was in my reality for me to claim my power. And it's whenever we get angry about something, it's always for us to claim our power and not come from a place of hate, not come from a place of harm, come from a place of wisdom, like, and with clear boundaries.
Mhm.
Like, no, you're not going to bully me. No, you're not going to do this. No, you are going to have to move out. But coming at it from a place of respect, not doing the same thing that we've been doing, like fist fighting and
Domestic violence.
and
Shooting.
bullying back. That's not the way to do it. We don't want to continue on doing this. We have to do it from a higher place. And that's the place we're talking about: emotional mastery, living from the heart. And you know what? And it's tough. It is tough, because where we have given our power away, where we felt powerless. But I feel like anytime you're angry, underneath that anger, there is such a truth. Find out what you're angry about and release that. I feel powerless. I feel used. I feel stepped on. I feel angry. I feel victimized. I feel bullied. Whatever it is, that's the energy you're releasing. And the next moment, whenever you're calm, come back and address it from a place of power.
That's very true. And it's never the other person, because they're only reflecting back to you something that you still need to work on, or something that is still out of balance within yourself. When you see all of your relationships are happy and everybody that you come in contact with is happy, then you know that what you are doing is you've cleared your way through to happiness as well.
That's beautiful, Janet.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I want to say something to Sam, because he said, thank you. He said, how can the family set boundaries with extremely emotional and intense loved one? So it's beautiful, because what you need to do, obviously, set boundaries in an intense family where there were none. So the way I help my clients set boundaries is write them out on pieces of paper, put the cards on the table. Write the boundaries and put the cards on the table. And then you're going to sit down with your person and write the boundaries out. Boundary 1, boundary 2, boundary 3. They're on the table. If you do this again, these are the consequences. I'm just letting you know. If you do this again, this is the boundary. These are the consequences. If you do this again, this is the boundary. This is my space. I'm claiming my space. This is my voice. You need to hear this, that kind of conversation. But write them down, because I find that when people see it in writing, it's an important thing. And then it's up to you to mean what you say, because a lot of times when people communicate their boundaries, and they've allowed other people to step over that boundary line time
Give
and
them
time
an inch and they take a mile,
right?
kind of thing. Yeah.
They've allowed it. Then you're going to it's going to be up to you to stay true to the boundary.
Yeah.
So hope that helps.
Yeah. And Sam, you can always reach out and contact Kornelia if you need help processing through these things. She does this. That's her work, is to help coach people through processing. I'm probably not saying that exactly right, but I'm going to put your website here in case anybody out there would like to. Kornelia Stephanie.
Yep, there you go. Yep,
There
thank
you go.
you. Yeah.
So reach out and see if maybe she can help you through processing. And guess what, guys? We are at the end. It's 4:59. I can't believe where that hour went.
Fast, you guys.
It did.
Listen, this weekend is the ultimate weekend for purification. Get it all out. Get it all out. Get the anger out. Get the energy out. Everything that you want transformed. Tell Pluto to transform it. Write it down on a piece of paper and say, transform this for me. I'm tired of this crap. Let it go, release it, and move into your right vibration, because you are awesome. You're amazing. You are deserving. You are worthy. You are brilliant. You are loved. You are abundant. You are prosperous. You are all that. So that's the truth. That's the truth.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week, Thursday, for another Ascension and Astrology. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.